Now, I want to ask, if you are from Gore, what the hell is going on in Gore? You get this young mayor, he comes on the program, he never came back, it all went a bit weird. Now there are allegations of bullying in the Gore Council and a bad culture, and they want him to leave, and other people say the council should leave. I will take any and all callers from Gore today if you can possibly try to explain to me or give me your perspective on what the hell is happening in the municipality of Gore. It's almost as crazy as what's happening at Parliament with independent MPs, and they seem to be Māori lesbians, most of them, popping up like wildfire. I have to tell you, the funniest look I saw on anyone's face this week was when Mita Whaitiri took her new seat right next to National, in between National and David Seymour. She took her seat for the first time on Tuesday after the Māori Party were kicked out of Parliament for trying to pull a quick haka on the Speaker. He was having none of that, even though he seems to have been quite happy to give Mita Whaitiri advice on how to keep pulling her salary and not get kicked out of Parliament. But the funniest look I saw on anyone's face was the bemusement and confusion and cognitive dissonance on David Seymour's face as he watched Mita Whaitiri trying to explain what was going on in her puku to the Speaker and was basically shut down. And I was wondering, what on earth is David Seymour thinking, or is he losing his mind? To find out, we're joined by the leader of the ACT Party right now. What a weird week, David.
G'day, Sean.
G'day.
It's been a weird week in Parliament. I totally
was I
agree.
right? Because I looked at your face as you looked at it. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Well, it's just embarrassing for everyone, really, because you've got these absolute clowns. They don't know the rules. They say that Meka Whaitiri is an independent and hasn't left Labour, but this week the Māori Party co-leader Debbie Ngarewa-Paka tried to cast 3 votes on behalf of the...
You there?
votes again.
Sorry,
Yep,
we just had a drop out there. So tried to cast 3 votes. Yeah.
Yep, so apparently they don't have an extra MP, but then she tried to cast 3 votes in favour of the Māori Party, suggesting Meka has in fact joined the Māori Party, but she cast them against her own bill and then had to cast them for her own bill. So she had to correct her vote twice, once in the direction and the second time in the number. Now, the reason I say all this is that you've just got some absolute clowns, and this is our Parliament that everyone's paying for. And if I look bemused, it's because I've got to sit there knowing I'm in camera shot, wondering how on earth New Zealand's democracy got to this.
Yeah, there is a new narrative, it would seem to me, in liberal left-wing media that I think Luxon kind of put the kibosh on yesterday. He said, we're not dealing with the Māori Party, but I read The Post, which used to be the Dominion, and the Dominion Post today, and it's got a piece about Kingmaker's ransom, and the sub-headline is a wealth tax, removing GST from food, ditching the Five Eyes military spy pact, and possibly the Royals' John Tamahiri on Te Pātai Māori's coalition bottom lines. And clearly there's an ongoing effort by some in the media to cast the Māori Party as the Kingmakers. In effect this week, David, haven't they just joined the centre-left power bloc?
Well, I think it's going to be really clear to voters increasingly as the year goes on that if you want total chaos, if you want everything that government does and everything that happens in the country to look like Parliament this week, and if you want to sit there feeling bemused for 3 years, as I did during the circus that we had in Parliament, then that's what happens if you vote for any party other than ACT or, dare I say it, National. That's what you're going to get. And so it's now become essential, not just because we need to do better, which I think ACT, is just always trying to put forward policies we can do better, but just to stop turning into absolute chaos. You cannot vote for Labour for the Greens, New Zealand First Army, you vote for the Maori Party, any of those, and you're inviting an absolute disaster.
Yeah. You failed to mention there, though, didn't you? And Chris Trotter has moved his vote over to New Zealand First, which is also, and I would argue, David, you have far less ability to sway a wavering Labour Party voter across the divide to vote for ACT than Winston Peters has.
Well, you'd have to ask some, and I mean, basically, if you're in that position, then there's three things you can get by voting for New Zealand First.